When I was IT, I made a flash animation of loading, and then
Oh, that's
I just
great.
left it on the middle of my screen, and I would like do other stuff, and people would come in and talk to me, and they were like, "Oh, you're busy," and they would leave.
You're alive.
I'm here with Lishi, Eric, AI Snippins, and today we're talking tech trolling with friends who love to give each other the business.
I saw one. He had a loading like a flash that it would go. I'm cracking myself up. It would go past 100%, 120%, 130%. Only real
awesome.
nerds.
Country Time Lemonade is the only thing that surpasses 100% bonus. I loves me some fine lemonade.
Once I realized that on a Mac, you can do a screen recording. So I opened up Final Cut Pro and I had like this, I set up like a 24-hour long timeline and then hit render. And then I recorded it for 10 minutes. And I basically would open the QuickTime, put it up, hit play, and just let it and just leave it on repeat. So it only really went up like 1%, right? But it looked like it was going. So I just make it full screen. I would just walk away and be like, well, what's happening? Like, oh, I'm trying to export. It's taking forever. Go get some coffee, hang out, talk to people.
There's a meme where the guy shows like the ultimate troll. They take the screen orientation, they flip the screen using the display mode in Windows. They flip it so that it's upside down. They make the desktop image an image of the desktop, right? A screenshot.
Oh, that's awesome.
And put the screenshot right side up on the upside down desktop. And then
that is great.
On the mouse orientation, they flip that. It's just fucked. It was really cool. Like all the stuff they did, like when you're about 3 deep, it was already too much to fathom what you would have to do, how you would understand it. But just the best part was the fact that the screenshot is the desktop. That was cool.
I'd be more confused than a fart in a fan factory. Never do that to me.
In college, we used to take people's computers and we would download a high-res image of a broken screen and make that their wallpaper and hide all the icons and everything on it. And then one of my friends, we did it to him, but we decided to pile like 8 people in the dorm room. When he came home, we were like, oh God, dude, we're so sorry. And we just like walked out apologizing. We're like, we'll get you a new one, we promise. And then he was just like, what the fuck did you guys do? What are you doing? And he got so pissed that he picked up his keyboard and smashed it on the table. And the keys are flying everywhere. And we're like, dude, no. It was a joke. It's not broken. It's not broken. He's like, fuck.
If that boy had an idea, it would die of loneliness. Bonus.
My beautiful Joseph, when he had one of his middle management jobs and he was just being the worst, he had a Mac laptop they gave him. And then I went into the Simple Sounds and I recorded Sexy Joseph. You know, that thing that whenever you hit the wrong
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So all
Wait,
day.
what?
It would, like, you know, the boop sound whenever you can change the Simple Sound in Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I recorded myself saying "Sexy Joseph." So because with his fat fingers, he would always hit the wrong key when he was done. So all day out of his room was "Sexy Joseph." Sexy, like, God damn it, son of a bitch. God. He would just kid, and he didn't know how to change it. And it was all day. And like the executive producer guy came into my room and was laughing his ass off. And he was like, look, this is fucking hilarious, but we really can't take it anymore.
It's like the Audible version of the keyboard autocorrect where you can like go into Microsoft Word and tweak like what it autocorrects to.
He would always make a sound after it made a sound. So he'd always be like, son of a bitch. Like every time. Like every time. Oh, it was so good.
Your Joseph couldn't roll a log in a rainstorm.
There used to be like a YouTube link that you'd send to people, but the volume was like really low. So you had no choice but to crank the speakers. And then after like 15, 20 seconds, it cuts to a screen and it's the guy yelling at the screen going, this guy's watching porno over here.
My best Mac I ever owned was a Mac clone. It was a pizza box. And they went and I tried to install 8 on it. And I called Boney and I said, yeah, it won't start. He goes, look, this is what you do. He goes, put your one hand on the left side and one hand on the right, pick it up, hold it over a garbage can and let go. You've bricked it.
Yes.
I still have.
Couldn't go right.
I have a 2006 MacBook Pro, and it still works.
Mine's a 2011,
God.
like 2011. I have one, an older one, but it can't. It doesn't do certain things because
Yeah, it can't do updates. It can't do really anything, but it's a decent web browser. I'm thinking about wiping it and putting on like Yellow Dog or something like that, some sort of like Linux operating system that's just super lightweight that it can run. Because
So do we
all the
all
stuff-
like that guy Luke Miani? Are we all nerds?
I love Luke
like that?
Miani. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, I love
always
him. He's
tearing
awesome.
shit apart.
Oh yeah. No, my
It's
favorite
really
though is when he
fun.
goes out and buys like really old stuff for like you get like a Mac for $100, and then he's like, "We're gonna repair it," and he spends like $1,200 on replacement parts. It's like, dude, just buy a new Mac. It's not worth it.
It's really fun though. It's really cool watching him
Oh,
take it
great.
apart.
Yeah, I like him, and I like the what is it, Jerry Rig Everything, the guy who does like the phone tests. Have you seen him? He does like scratch tests on the screen. He basically breaks the phone every time he goes. So he does a bend test on it. He'll
Yeah.
hold a lighter up to the screen, and
I'm
it's all
in.
top down. Oh, the dude's awesome. He's great.
I'm
Yeah.
in.
I like him a lot. Yeah,
He tries to break shit. I like him.
yeah.
I like guys.
It's
that
a
break
durability
shit.
test. Yeah, like he took a Samsung. Like I think there's maybe the new, whatever the new Galaxy S24 maybe or something like that. But he has like the Moe's hardness scratcher thing, so he'll put something on the screen and he'll do scratches, and it's always the same line that he does, where it's like scratches is like light scratches at a 6 and deeper grooves at a 7 or something like that. Because everyone's always claiming they have the best glass, but it all scratches exactly the same. And but he'll hold a lighter up to the screen to see how fast the pixels will recharge. He has a little razor blade that he like scrapes around the sides to figure out like what it's made out of, and it's awesome. Yeah, just
I
look up
gotta
Jerry
see
Rig
this.
Everything, and
I
it
gotta
is
see
it is
this.
so much fun. Yeah,
A pigeon just flew in my house. I am fixing to go make friends with it.
dude, OS 9 was great. I loved 9. Had like 3 discs to install it. 9 was fantastic.
I met a guy. He's actually a photographer, rock and roll photographer. If you look at the Carole King Tapestry, he shot that album cover. Shot just like tons of these really cool. Like he's an older guy when I met him. Man, he talked about orgies in the 70s and stuff. He was a really cool dude. But he said he had every Mac, and I remember he talked about Mac OS 1 was the best operating system that Mac ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And he had some Mac computer that was like this big. Was there ever a Mac that big?
Yeah,
Maybe I'm
Like a
thinking
Mac Mini,
Mac Mini.
or like an old one.
this is like 1982 Mac or
Oh
something. I mean,
God, I
like,
have no idea.
right. You know what I mean? You'd have to be either working on a movie set and you needed a prop, but he showed it. I can't remember. It was so long ago, but he had this tiny little Mac and he said Mac OS 1 was the best or some shit. It's just like, oh my
friend's
God.
mom worked at university where I'm from, where I grew up. She had like a graveyard of like all the Macs because they would just throw them away. So she would just take one home. She had every single, but like that, that graveyard is probably worth thousands of dollars because they're all in really good condition and she's maintained them and they all work. So like you
Yeah,
can
my
get like an
brother-in-law
old
grew up
Apple
in
IIe. Like it's crazy.
My brother-in-law grew up in Cupertino, and he does, well, I don't know what they call it now, but he was in a 24 frame playback. And in his garage, he has every Mac ever made because he's when he gets on a shoot, he's the department head and he owns the company that rents the stuff, right?
Nice.
Yeah, so he gets to buy all
That's
the
a really good gig.
That is double
Yeah.
dipping. That is wonderful double dipping when you.
Oh,
do that.
yeah. Another guy I know is a camera guy on like Yellowstone and that whole series, and he was, it's his equipment and
Yeah,
just
you
a
rent it.
license to print money.
He must be happier than a corn casserole at my house because I don't eat them. So.
When I first moved out here and I started as an assistant editor, they assumed that assistant editor meant that you could also build a website. So
Of course.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it?
while I'm spending 12 hours syncing footage from reality television shows, they're like, oh, you should build this website. And I was like, are you going to pay me to build the website separately? And they're like, no, we're just going to use you as our IT guy because you seem to know all this stuff. And I was like, okay. So I taught myself HTML, built buttons and things like that, showed it to the guy, and he's just like, this is awful. And I was like, yeah, because I'm an AE and you expect me to build a website for you? Like, do you even know what these positions are? Like, it's unbelievable.
You know what they used to say to me when I used to say stuff like that? Like, what are you talking about? That's not what we do. They were like, well, it's another feather in your cap.
Oh God, I hate that so much. I hate
Feather in
that
the
so
cap.
much.
Really? Do you like that? Do you like that better than arrow in your quiver?
Oh, I don't like arrow in your quiver at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't like
fucking
either
hate
one.
arrow in your quiver.
Who says that? People say that. I've never even heard that expression. Really? That's another arrow in your quiver, is it?
Oh God,
Well, I'm about to make this job another notch on my belt.
And I
it's
mean-
so
I mean,
Ren fair.
literally,
This is so bad.
It is Ren.
So bad.
People think I am cosplaying as a goth pirate, but that's just how I dress myself.
We used to all go to a VRBO, right? And it was always during my nephew's
What's
in-laws.
a VRBO?
Virtual.
Oh, like a Airbnb?
Yeah. Before Airbnb, there
Yeah.
was VRBO.
It was Verbo. Yeah.
I can't remember what it's saying. Real estate.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's a vacation. You rent a vacation home,
Mhm.
and we went to Oxnard because the patriarch of the family, they wanted to make sure he was close to a Kaiser, and my nephew, he was a LARPer, and they had all the LARPs come to visit, and it was imagine acting class in high school meets
Mhm.
D&D.
Yeah.
And it seems to me there's always an older guy with facial hair that really it's borderline inappropriate that he's in the group.
Yeah.
There is always one older gentleman.
They're called perverts. Bonus.
So I have tallied our votes, and feel free to write in the comments section who you think is never right in this episode. What are you doing?
What is going on over there? Eric?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get like the lens flare from the lights up above me
Oh,
out of the way, but it's
Trying to make
we're
a
gonna
flag.
throw a scrim in that junker junior money too.
Flying in. Yell flying in because they love saying that.
Flying in. Everything's always flying in.
Everything's always flying in on set.
Flying in.
You're never right.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want more content from the Never Right podcast.